Good morning, everyone. My name is Nilanjan Paul. I'm a student of Maulana Azad National Institute of Technology, Bhopal, second year Masters in Urban Planning. The topic is identifying principles for pedestrian-oriented development, taking a case of Siliguri, West Bengal, India. With me, my professor, Professor Rahul Tiwari, is a part of the research paper. Talking about pedestrian-oriented development, like walking is equivalent to sustainable urban planning approach. Walking is right now, the more the higher walkability a city shows, the less is the vehicle footprint the community has. And walkability is something that underdeveloped nations such as India must take into consideration. But on contrary to that, the only thing that we are seeing is there's an increase in number of vehicles on the roads with the new flyovers and road expansions to attract more and more vehicles in the system. The need for the study is with walkability or with pedestrian oriented development being introduced, carbon emission will reduce on its own. It is the economic, it has a huge economic factor where the economy of a settlement or a city is generated, where the pollution levels are reduced. And why specific Siliguri? Because Siliguri is a very huge tourist attraction spot, and it also acts as a gateway to the northeastern region. So the vehicular movement in the city is increasing day by day. Now, what exactly we mean by a city for people? Basically, making a city for people means giving access to the people over vehicles and to give a satisfactory environment for the people living in the city. And it is an essential, like walking is very much essential for humans, it is for the fishes to swim or a bird to fly. So we are meant to walk, and having a pedestrian friendly area is crucial for comfortable urban lifestyles, as you can see in the pictures on the right. Now, the major concepts revolving around pedestrian oriented development, it basically talks about connecting land use and transportation, walkable surroundings that encourage people to opt for it, then mixed use development, uh, planning land uses in a financially and socially feasible way, and to ensure that the streets are well connected. The street infrastructure is well connected with everything around. Basically, pedestrian-oriented development includes elements of sound planning and urban design. It's an integration, and it is understood that these kind of development practices are not very much common in today's context, but it will improve mobility, choice of mobility, and communities' identity as a whole. Now, talking about the components of a pedestrian-oriented development, first is mixed-use development, where all kind of land uses are brought up together into close proximity, so people can walk, ride a bike, or take transit rather than using their personal vehicles to reach this destination. Compact development is a part of mixed-use development, but in compact development, we cluster the development in central places. This includes lowering infrastructure costs, enhances supports for local retails and transport services, and it obviously decreases vehicle dependency since the destinations are placed closer together. Now, interconnected lower traffic streets. This means that the transport traffic should be streets are designed at safe moderate rate by mandating narrow tree-lined roadways and using of cost-effective measures to regulate speed and access. One-way streets, access management plans, and or proper corner radii to limit turning speeds are recommended. Now, pedestrian orientation means the fourth component is pedestrian orientation all over. To give pedestrian access must be given in form of sidewalks running to the length of the development of the pathways connecting new developments to existing attractions. Now talking about the NMT policies in India, the NMT policies basically spoke about bringing out the non-motorized transportation in the transportation infrastructure field. where walking and cycling are an example of NMT transportation. Rickshaws are an NMT example of NMT transportation. The reason why NMT was introduced is because it has very little carbon emissions, minimum energy usage, and no local emission at all. Most Indian cities are still in compact sense and with highly population density, so we can actually shift to NMT at this moment also. Whether walking, cycling, and riding a bike and NMTs like rickshaws can be put into play. Now, the current NMT policy in India, they speak about service level benchmarking that is developed by the Ministry of Urban Development for urban transport. Basically, SLBs they examine the NMT infrastructure and other critical features that help in monitoring and maintaining the service levels of these uh, stated NMT policies. Now, talking about the under the Prime Minister's National Action Plan, 8 principles for sustainable urban mobility was introduced, and two of which was walking and cycling. Now, talking about the NMTs, the government also speaks that NMT should connect the last mile linkage, and it should have an independent mode on itself. Uh, and when the 12th five-year plan was being developed, the working committee that formed provided suggestions on urban transportation. The development of dedicated funds to enhancement, maintain and upgrade existing walking and cycling infrastructure was one of the most important suggestions made by this committee. Now, the criteria for walkable cities, the walkability is basically made up of three parts, that is safety, security, convenience, and level of government support is also needed. The Pedestrian Environment Review System (PERS), it is established to understand the walkability index, and that in PERS, it is basically measured in physical, social, psychological, and environmental factors that makes a city walkable. The factors further divided into five main parameters, that is path network connectivity, interconnection with other means of transport, land use pattern, personal security as well as safety, and path width, asphalt, landscaping, signages, and lighting. These are all the factors that need to be considered. We're talking about city capital of Siliguri. This is one of the largest and fastest growing cities in West Bengal. It is the gateway to the northeastern region and runs between Bangladesh in the south and Bhutan and China in the north and Nepal in the west. This is a very strategic position that actually catalyzes the fast growing population and economic expansion. Since 1931, the city has grown five folds to 41.9 square kilometers and right now is divided into 47 wards. The total population in 1931 was 6,067. In 2001, it was 4.72 lakhs, and in 2011, it was 7 lakhs. The geographical structure is nearly linear that you can see on the right, the study area map. That is spanning over 9 kilometers north-south and maximum of 5 kilometers east-west. Now talking about the modal share of Siliguri, only 18% of people prefer walking and 8% they prefer cycle rickshaws and 16% they prefer cycling. So basically that's a very small share of population. Now the possibilities of pedestrian oriented development for Siliguri itself. Now talking about the path connectivity, uh, like in Siliguri, the paths are found only 14% of the roadways. That is a really bad infrastructure facility that we can say. So this has to be implemented. Interconnection with other means of transport. Basically, the transportation should be divided into two tiers, where the first tier will cater to buses on the main trunk highways and auto rickshaws on secondary roads, and the second tier will involve the internal roads that need to be pedestrianized totally. Now, talking about the land use patterns, compact cities they specifically talk about place work people. The three things will be connected by high quality social and physical infrastructure and efficient transportation. This is much needed in Siliguri as a whole. And our personal security as well as safety, there's a diversified traffic flow. And during the peak hours, they not only cater to the office employees, but also business people. So there are high chances of vehicle passenger conflicts in the inner streets, and this need to be overcome. Now talking about the pathways and asphalt landscaping, uh, although Siliguri have sufficient width of walkways for 2 to 3 people, but then 75% of the walkway are covered by the shop owners. And due to this, the pedestrians they have to face heavy rainfall whenever they are walking on the walkways. So this has to be taken care of, and also the street lights and the other facilities are not adequate enough. These need to be catered to.
Conclude the research paper and the findings that can be stated. The professionals from all sectors such as transportation planning, transportation engineering, health, tourism, crime prevention, urban planners, urban designers should be consulted for walking strategies to provide a barrier-free and easy accessible streets and walkways for everyone, to integrate land and land use and transportation together, to make the to promote a pedestrian oriented development throughout the city, to mandate road safety checks in all at several stages, for example preliminary design, post preliminary design, detailed engineering design on a per kilometer basis, construction and pre-opening. Also, pedestrian oriented development, they seek to increase transportation choice and to decrease the number of trips that must be made by car. And why exactly Siliguri needs a walkability plan or a pedestrian oriented development is because it needs to grow in a sustainable development way, because Siliguri is a growth engine for the entire area, and this needs to be preserved. This needs to follow a sustainable development towards the future generations as well. Thank you.